Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Let's Get Tender podcast, where special guests join me each week to share money conversations that matter for business and life success. In today's episode, you'll meet Shellise Berry, a certified expressive art practitioner, intuitive painter, and breast cancer survivor. You'll hear how this full-time crime analyst reconnected with her natural artistic power to heal in her courageous battle with cancer, and how this led to the launch of her business to help others find peace, healing, and joy through life's challenges using art. Plus, you'll learn why Shellise recommends money coaching, especially for creative artists, to unfold their financial potential one brave feather at a time, and learn how you can meet us both live in person. So get ready for the very first money conversation of the new year on the creative power to prosper.
Welcome to Let's Get Tender, Money Conversations That Matter, a video podcast series with certified money coach Marlene Elizabeth, with amazing weekly guests who share their inner challenges, personal triumphs, and inside tips and strategies so you can prosper, lead, and love bravely in business and life. So get comfy and get ready to grow money wings.
Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back. I'm so excited to have my guest today, Shellise Berry. Welcome to the show, Shellise.
Hi, Marlene. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. So, Shellise, before we get started on our money conversation, I wanted to give you the opportunity to share a little bit about your very powerful story. There was some news that you received back in 2014, right?
Yes, in 2014, I went for my basic mammogram, and they noticed some specks that showed up on the X-ray. And they told me that normally it's, any calcium deposits in the breast area is not a good sign. And so within 3 days, I was contacted by by St. Jude's, and they wanted me to come back in to be re-examined. So from there, they did an ultrasound. Within 3 days, they contacted me again and said, yes, there's something there. We need to do a biopsy. And then within 3 days, I was in the office doing a biopsy, and it confirmed that something was there, and it confirmed that it was cancer. So I ended up having a double mastectomy and reconstruction surgery, but it kind of really changed my view, or emphasized my view on life and how short it is and precious it is, and that I need to spread my gospel of love to the world while I have time.
Oh my goodness, Shellise. So you're such an inspiration, because this experience that you went through has really influenced what you do today, right? Could you share a little bit about that, what you do today?
Yes, I am a fine artist, and I paint paintings of inspiration. So God's love for mankind. And so I paint these messages, and there's a different story that goes with each painting, and a different positive daily affirmation that can be applied to your life. And so I paint these to spread the love of God.
Beautiful. And is this a full-time job for you, or is this kind of a side business that you run?
This is my side business. I currently work for Los Angeles County Sheriff Department as a crime analyst. I've been with the County of Los Angeles for 31 years. I've been painting since 2012. So this is my side business.
Well, I'm just so excited to talk with you today, especially from the perspective of being an artist. When we talk about our relationship to money, we have different hats that we wear and that show up on the stage when we are engaged with our money. And one of those hats that we wear is as a creative artist. And in the workshops that I teach and when I'm working with clients one-on-one, one of the things that comes up in terms of challenges around money for creative artists is that there sometimes can be an internal conflict and sometimes even a disconnect, because really an artist does it, as you mentioned, it's really for the love that it gives to the community. Money it's not for the money, right? And so with that, I'm just so excited to have this conversation with you today. And I know there's going to be some really powerful insights that are going to come from it for our viewers today. And so Shellise, I wanted to ask you, so what is your first memory of money?
Okay, my first memory, I was probably between 5 and 7, and my mom brought to my attention that I was not saving enough money to purchase her a pleasant birthday present, Mother's Day present, and Christmas present. And I was just scraping by and getting her something small and tiny and then saving my own money for me. And so she expressed to me that, we should do our best and give our best to those that we love. And so from that point on, I saved my money and bought my mom really nice gifts for those occasions. And I think that same mentality has stuck with me over the years, and I'm sure has affected my how I spend money, because I like buying gifts and giving gifts, and I know sometimes I probably overdo that a little bit, because that's what I was taught.
Hmm. So, do you find that this particular memory has any impact on maybe any limiting beliefs that you have about money, or maybe a different experience that you've had that's created maybe some limiting beliefs that you have when it comes to money?
Okay, limiting beliefs. Um, well, I think I felt like money was somewhat hard to come by, and somewhat hard to come by, and that you had to really pay attention to what you were doing as far as saving it. You have to really take some mental thought in doing that, and that it's almost like another job, working through your financing, and which as an artist, that's a conflict for me, because that's the left side of your brain, and an artist, as you know, functions on the right side of the brain. So I just caused I've had conflicts in that aspect, mostly with trying to run the business side of my art business versus working in a left brain business for the majority of my life.
Yes, and you're not alone, right? This is really common. The the left side of our brain being able to connect in with the time and structure and all the gifts that help us to run our business. But if we're mostly gifted in the right side of our brain, yes, that's absolutely right. That can be a challenge. And so, what are some of the brave steps that you've taken to overcome some of those challenges?
To overcome some of those challenges, I try to make sure that I get advice. I've gotten advice from you, my money coach. I've gotten advice from my mom, and sometimes I may speak to a friend or two to make sure that I'm making a good judgment call when it comes to spending money, and making investments and trying to run my business at this time, because I know I don't always think so clearly about it. So I try to get counsel.
Shellise, right? That is a brave step because a lot of times we can feel not comfortable asking for help. Right? And especially when we're strong, independent women. And so the fact that you reach out for help and get support, it leads me to believe it's because you're a doer. You're a dreamer, but you're also a doer. Am I right?
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, I'm accused of overdoing. My pastor is constantly saying, "Slow down, Shellise. You're moving too quickly." And my mom is reiterating the same thing. You do too much. You have too much on your plate. And but yes, I try to make sure that I do what I've learned. And when I don't get the counseling, it's normally when I've made major money mistakes.
Yes, and that's the whole piece about, when we're wanting to get to the next level in our relationship to money, to be able to understand that there's the outer work, right? All the practical aspects, the nuts and bolts of finance, but equally important is the inner work. And people react to that inner work differently. Some look at it as touchy-feely, and don't have time for it, don't have time to slow down for it, maybe don't really want to go there and think that deep, really, because of the emotions that it triggers, and all of that. And yet, the fact remains, really, is that we need to be able to do the inner work and the outer work. So it sounds like you're a really great example of that you recognize that.
Yes, at this point, I've become more aware. The coaching that I've had with you has really opened my eyes to my spending and why I spend, and that I'm an emotional spender. So when I'm feeling, I guess, low or not so happy about things, I like to give things, and then that makes me feel better. But at the same time, that's like a whirlpool that sucks you in, because then once you spend the money, now you feel bad that you spent the money, and now that money is gone, and now you're trying to replace the money that you've spent.
So being able to do the deeper work, the inner work, the retreat type of work that you and I have done together, and that I do with my clients, it really does begin to shift the dynamics. And suddenly the things that were challenging and hard are no longer challenging and hard once we do that deep dive type of work. And it does take courage. It does. So I applaud you in your,
Thank you.
yeah, and your courage. And so, Shellise, what would you say then is an empowering belief that you have about money that really helps you in your business, in your work, and even kind of in managing the spending in a way that is respectful of your finances?
But my major empowering thought about money is that I believe that what the Bible says, that if you give God 10% of your income off the top, that He'll make sure you have enough to take care of everything else in your life. And He also talks about opening up the windows of heaven and pouring you out blessings that you won't be able to receive. They don't say that those are financial, but I believe those include financial needs, because He knows what we need. He created us, and He loves us. So that gives me the confidence to keep moving forward, to know that I am trusting Him, that I am giving my tithe, and I'm trusting Him to help me make it the rest of the way on the remaining of the 90%.
Mm, mm. That is, I've had other guests talk about that, the power that they have experienced in their businesses or even in their income when they are giving. So, and as women, we tend to be natural givers. We're very generous with everything that we have to give in the world. And sometimes if we don't keep that balance just right, I mean, it is kind of an ongoing journey to keep the balance of making sure that we take care of our needs so that we have something to give, whether it's our energy, our time, our finances, gifts, strengths, or being able to sometimes overgive and then we end up depleted. So I love this piece that you're saying, that it's so important to take that amount of money and being able to give and share from our treasure. And then at the same time, keeping in mind how important it is for us to make sure we do have our own oxygen mask on, as they say, so that we can help those around us. And so taking that time to also give generously to ourselves as well. So that's wonderful, Shellise. And so Shellise, so you're a new entrepreneur, right? You're kind of just getting started and getting your business off the ground, your painting business. I'm a happy customer, I'd like my viewers to be able to see the painting that I did with you right behind me. And I had the best time. And not only did I get this chance to kind of tap into my creative, my right brain side, but I also got to chat with other women, which was really wonderful. It was just a really great experience. And so I would love to know, as you get started as an entrepreneur, and maybe for some of the viewers who are just getting started in their businesses, or maybe just thinking about, really taking their hobby seriously and turning it into a business, what are maybe one or two lessons that you have learned that have been helpful for you, that you would feel would be helpful for others to know?
Well, the biggest thing that I've learned over this past year, because I really just started my business more so in 2017, but during 2018, I've learned a lot of lessons regarding business ventures and marketing and advertising. And so you have to really know your market. So if you're going into business, you're going to need to know your target market so that you can advertise in the right way. So I made some choices this year that I don't think paid off for my business as far as advertising. They had potentials to bring in a lot of business and referrals, but it just didn't pan out that way. So I'm still working now on trying to find my target market out there so that I can advertise properly and do the correct marketing for that people.
Yeah, that's huge. That's an essential piece. So thank you so much for bringing that up. That is an essential piece when you're getting started in business, is really knowing your target market. And it's also a process and a journey. And so, you practice, you experiment, you invest what you can afford to learn and to say, well, that's not quite my target market, and oh, this is my target market. And there's different strategies you can do, like surveys and asking people what is it that they find most of most value if they were to come to a paint and go workshop as the ones that you provide, or even the private one-on-one painting sessions you do with people. Asking people, what is it that you find that really it makes you excited to be here with me, to do this service. And but yes, the more that we know our target market in detail, you're absolutely right. The better off that our businesses will be, the more income we'll be able to make. So let me ask you this too, Shellise. So what have you learned to be true then about money that you wish you would have learned or known, before you started your business?
What do I know that's true? Well, what I know is true, it goes back to that same Bible verse about giving. I think it's really important that you're giving and try to give the community, even if it may not be financially that you're giving, but giving of your time, of your gifts, and that if you're giving like that, positive things come back to you as you're giving to the public and giving to people. That it will come back to you, and that you need to you need to be mindful of what you're doing with your money. And what I've found to be true is that if you are tied up in debt, you can't give to anyone else because you're struggling. You can't help those in need. Every now and then you may feel in your heart that you should give some money to this person that you see on the street that's struggling, but you can't do it because your money is all tied up in your debt. And so I found that it's true, like the Bible also says, owe no man nothing. So we're not to be in debt. And that is my truth, is that I want to be out of debt, and I will be in a little bit over 6 years. I'll be out of debt, and I'll be able to give the way I truly want to give.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, debt is, that's a conversation that we can all have, right? And being able to get really a handle on that, because as you said, it's so true. without with having mountains of debt, it's really hard to get ahead in the business, and it's really hard for us to make our dreams come true, but also not to be hard on ourselves, to be able to know that it is possible to get out of debt. It is possible to take many baby steps, what I call, brave feather steps, those small steps to be able to move ourselves out of that. And it does take commitment. And that's what I love about you, Shellise, is you have this commitment and this drive. And what would you say is your greatest, maybe deepest reason for why you want to do the business that you're in with the painting? What is it that really, just motivates you to do your business?
I believe that because God is the great creator, that he made us like him. And I believe that people have within them the desire to create. And for those who have not been exposed to that in their lifetime, I'm pretty sure that they feel a void inside, that something's missing. So I believe that we're all meant to be creative. And so I would like to expose people to that creativity side of themselves that they lost touch with as a child. We come here and and children are all so creative. They paint, they draw without fear. And somewhere in the process, we're taught that, oh, you're not an artist, or you can't be an artist, or you're not good enough to be an artist. And so we stuff that part of aside and stuff it away, and we go through our lifetimes without that feeling and that sense of creativity brings.
And have you, I imagine, I know you've experienced this in your life, and I don't know if you've experienced this with other people who you've been in connection with your business, other customers or clients, but I imagine that there is quite a bit of healing that takes place when you connect to this right brain side of yourself, especially if you are naturally right brain and you've never known it, and you've tried to fit into a left brain world or left brain job or just a left brain way of life, and experiencing trouble in your health, in your finances, in your relationships, in your peace of mind, all of that. Have you experienced that, Shellise?
Yes, for sure in my own life. While I was going through my battle with cancer, I was painting on a regular basis. I think it attributed to my healing so quickly. I was only off from work for 2 months, and then I returned to work part-time, but I attribute a lot of that to being creative and feeling like I was in touch with God as I was painting. I've had several students that continue to repeat and take my painting gold classes because I can tell that it's a healing towards them as well. And I've also done a single session, and she felt like that everything came out in the painting that was going on in her life, and it was portrayed in the painting. And she was very relieved after we finished our session.
It's powerful. What I love about the service you provide as well is that you give space to, because in the right brain world, there are no words. It's a whole different experience. And we need that. We need that. And I think one of my favorite stories that you shared once is that you were painting what you thought was a bird. Would you like to tell a little bit about that story?
Yes. I was going through my normal painting process, which I'm an intuitive painter, which means I don't plan out what I'm painting. And so I depend on God and inspiration to lead me through a painting. And so I started this painting, and for some reason I thought it was a bird. So I kept trying to make it be a bird. I was adding wings, I was adding feathers, and it just did not look like a bird. So one of my girlfriends that I consult with on some of my paintings, she said, Shellise, that doesn't look like any type of bird that I've ever seen in my life. And so then she says, you know what, turn that thing upside down. So I flipped the painting over, and it was a whale. And it was obvious it was a whale, and it was a whale swimming in the ocean. And I was just so stunned that here I was trying to make the painting be something that it wasn't.
I love this story for so many reasons. As a money coach, I use this, I share this story with other people. And the way that it really just speaks to me personally is that sometimes we're looking out there, kind of like, out there as if it were a bird in the sky. And instead, we need to look within, like a whale that's in the ocean. And so thank you so much for sharing that story, Shellise, and just for everything that you provide. And I wanted to give people a chance to learn about where they can, see more of your paintings, maybe even this one, if you still have it on your website, that's you talked about in your story. But just where can people find you to learn more about you or your workshops?
Yes, I have a website. It is www.berries, BERRYS, divine, DIVINE, designs, DESIGNS.com. And you can find all of my paintings there that are still available. And I offer originals and prints of those paintings and of various sizes of those paintings.
Wonderful, wonderful, Shellise. Well, thanks again. Would you like to add any last bit of advice for creative artists out there that might be watching?
I believe that we can be successful artists. I don't believe we all have to be starving artists. You may need to get a money coach to help you with that side of the business, because I know we're not really geared to be financially sound in our thinking. That just doesn't really go well with the creative side. So get yourself a coach, a financial coach that can help you step through your business and help you get your business started the proper way.
Thank you, Shellise. Thank you so much. And yes, I encourage you to please check out Shellise's website. And again, thank you, Shellise, for your time today.
Thank you, Marlene, for having me. It's been wonderful.
If you're looking to improve your finances and your relationship to money in the new year, there are 3 simple but deep solutions that every creative, entrepreneurial, passionate woman needs to grow her money wings. Number 1, having a heart-to-heart money conversation, whether privately or in a group setting, so that you can connect to your finances more intimately and to recognize this relationship as a way to live your values. Number 2, understanding your money type as a simple tool to identify, evaluate, and transform your money so that you can live your money beliefs, your habits, and your patterns in a way that's in alignment with your financial dreams and goals. Number 3, claiming your zone of genius so that you can start cashing in on your naturally wired brain gifts to financially thrive in business and life. Each of these 3 strategies help you to put the power back into your hands when it comes to unfolding your financial potential. And this is the big part of the work that I do with my clients inside my private one-on-one money coaching sessions. Together, we dive deep into a heart-to-heart money conversation in a safe, gentle, and non-judgmental environment so that you can explore and uncover your own personal money story. You'll also learn the 8 money archetypes and discover which money type is guiding your behavior around money in helpful or unhelpful ways. You'll also get powerful clarity around your strengths so that you can stop under-earning and start unfolding your financial potential, and you'll learn so much more. So I invite you to learn more about money coaching and see if it's a good fit to help you achieve your financial dreams by scheduling a complimentary chat with me at meetwithmarlene.com. I hope you enjoyed today's interview with Shellise. If you'd like to meet us both live in person, we'd love for you to join us for a 1-day New Year retreat that we're hosting on January 12th. Spaces are limited, but we do still have some spots available. So if you'd like to learn more and register for this wonderful event, it's called Wrap Your Brain Around Success, and you can visit the link wrapyourbrain.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.